Have you ever arrived at the end of a day, your body heavy as lead, your spirit withered and dry, despite having done absolutely nothing physical? You did not run a marathon. You did not lift heavy stones. You sat in the velvet embrace of a chair, or lay motionless in the softness of your bed, and yet, as the sun dips below the horizon, you feel a depletion so total it feels as though you have fought a war. This is not the exhaustion of muscle and bone. This is the silent, corrosive exhaustion of a mind that has forgotten how to rest. Look closely at the architecture of your day. Most of us live our entire lives locked inside the echo chamber of our own skulls. We are the directors and the victims of a never-ending cinema, constantly replaying the grainy footage of the past, obsessively rehearsing the terrifying scripts of the future, worrying, analyzing, dissecting, comparing. We treat the present moment not as a place to live, but as a problem to be solved. And somewhere along this weary road, we were sold a lie. We came to believe that this mental friction is necessary for survival. We convinced ourselves that if we just then think hard enough, grind the gears of the intellect fiercely enough, we will finally crack the code of existence. But ask yourself honestly, is it working? After decades of this relentless internal narration, are you more at peace? Are you clearer? Or are you simply more tired? 2,600 years ago, a man sat beneath a tree and observed the human condition with the precision of a surgeon. The Buddha saw that human beings do not suffer because they lack intelligence. We suffer because we lack the brakes. We suffer because we cannot stop the engine of the mind from churning. And in that silence, he discovered another way. A path not paved with more thoughts, but cleared by direct seeing. Less thinking, more seeing. This is not a call to stupidity. It is an invitation to upgrade your operating system. It is an invitation to discover a different kind of knowing, one that does not burn fuel, one that brings clarity instead of smoke. But to apply the cure, we must first unflinchingly look at the disease. Why does thinking this evolutionary tool we are so arrogant about become the primary source of our misery? In the ancient texts of the Sutta Nikaya, the Buddha offered an image that dissolves the centuries to speak directly to us today. He described the untrained mind as a monkey swinging through a dense, chaotic forest. It grabs a branch, holds it for a second, and before it even understands what it is holding, it lets go to grasp another, and another, and another, never still, never resting, always reaching, always hungry for the next contact. This was observed in the Iron Age, yet it describes the digital age with terrifying accuracy. You sit down to share a meal with the people you love, but the monkey is swinging through the branches of an argument you had at work. You travel to a paradise to rest, but you pack the monkey in your suitcase, and it chatters loudly over the sound of the ocean. Your body is here, occupying this space, but your mind is a ghost, haunting a yesterday that is dead or a tomorrow that hasn't been born. You are rarely, if ever, where you actually are. Why is this addiction so hard to break? Part of the answer lies in the bedrock of our modern culture. In the 17th century, the philosopher René Descartes stripped away reality to find one absolute truth. He doubted the wood of his desk, the heat of the fire, the very hands he wrote with. And he arrived at one lonely conclusion: I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum. The act of mental noise was the proof of his existence. It was a brilliant philosophical maneuver, but it left a scar on the Western psyche. It planted a subconscious terror in us all. If thinking proves I exist, then what happens if the thinking stops? If I think, therefore I am, then does I am silent mean I cease to be? This is why the silence of an empty room feels like a threat. This is why we reach for the glowing screen of our phones the moment the conversation pauses. We are terrified of the gap. We fill every crevice of time with noise, with stimulation, with distraction, because we have absorbed the lie that our existence depends on our mental activity. We keep the machine running hot, afraid of the void. But consider this possibility. If you can notice that you have been lost in thought, if you can suddenly wake up and say, I was daydreaming then, who is the one noticing? If you can watch the thought, you cannot be the thought. There is the knowing, and there is the known. They are not the same. The Buddha's insight cut deeper than Descartes. He did not say, I think, therefore I am. He pointed to the canvas upon which the thinking is painted. He pointed to awareness itself. Awareness is there before the thought rises like a wave. It is there while the thought crashes. And it remains vast and untouched after the thought recedes back into the ocean. The Buddha was also a pragmatist. He warned us of the physical cost of this mental addiction. In the Vipassana Sutta, he recounted his own struggles before his awakening. He noticed that the mind has a groove. Whatever you ponder upon frequently becomes the inclination of your soul. But he also noticed the tax it levied on his biology. He said, if I think and ponder upon this even for a long time, that would tire my body. When the body is tired, the mind is disturbed. A disturbed mind is far from concentration. Even thinking about good things, if done without pause, burns out the nervous system. This is why you can spend a Sunday doing nothing but worrying and feel more exhausted than if you had built a house. The mind has been sprinting while the body sat still. And what did that sprinting achieve? Usually nothing but a deeper groove of anxiety. So, is the solution to become a stone? Should we lobotomize ourselves and stop thinking altogether? No, the Buddha was not a nihilist. Thinking is a tool, like a hammer. A hammer is essential for building a shelter. But if you walk around swinging it at everything you see, you will destroy your world. The question is not to think or not to think. The question is the master using the tool, or is the tool using the master? Right resolve or right thought is a pillar of the Noble Eightfold Path. Thoughts of generosity, of renunciation, of non-violence, these are the architects of a good life. The Buddha spoke of appropriate attention, yoniso manasik, thinking that investigates cause and effect to unlock wisdom. So the enemy is not the thought. The enemy is a specific kind of mental cancer the Buddha called papaka. Papaka is often translated as mental proliferation, but it is better understood as drama creation. It is the mind's tendency to take a single drop of rain and spin it into a hurricane. You know this experience intimately. Someone does not reply to your text message. That is the raw fact. But the mind is not satisfied with the fact. It begins to build. They are angry with me. I must have said something stupid yesterday. They have been distant for weeks. They are probably going to leave me. I will be alone forever. Within seconds, a simple delay in communication has become a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions. And none of it is real. It is a hallucination generated by a mind addicted to storytelling. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha said, This Dhamma is for one who delights in non-objectification, not for one who delights in objectification. We have a strange masochistic love for these dramas. They make us feel central to the universe. But they produce nothing but cortisol and suffering. Less thinking means starving this beast. It means catching the mind as it tries to turn a fragment into a movie and gently saying no. Just the fact, please. But how do we do this when the torrent is strong? How do we stand in the river without being swept away? The Buddha offered a toolkit in the Vipassana Sutta. He gave us 5 weapons to fight the siege of the mind. The first is the weapon of displacement, gentle redirection. Replace the dark thought with a light one, like a carpenter knocking out a rotten peg with a fresh one. If that fails, look at the danger. See the thought as a poisonous snake hanging around your neck. If that fails, ignore it. Withdraw your attention like closing your eyes to a gruesome sight. If that fails, investigate the urge. Slow it down. Ask, why am I thinking this? And if the storm is truly violent, if the obsession is dragging you into the dark, he gave permission for forcer, with teeth clenched and tongue pressed against the roof of the mouth, beat down, constrain, and crush mind with mind. But notice the order. Gentleness first. Force only when the house is burning. For most of our days, we do not need to crush the mind. We simply need to treat it like a background noise, like the hum of a refrigerator or traffic on the street. You hear it, but you do not invite it in for tea. You notice the wandering. You return to the breath. You notice again. You return again. This is not failure. This is the workout. This is the bicep curl of the awakened mind. But when we return, what do we return to? This is the crux of the teaching. This is where we leave the map and start walking the territory. Imagine a bowl of soup steaming in front of you. You can read the recipe. You can study the history of the vegetables. You can analyze the chemical composition of the broth. You can write a poem about the smell. You can think about the soup for 1,000 years. But you will never, ever know the taste of the soup until you put the spoon in your mouth. Thinking is reading the recipe. Seeing is tasting the soup. This is the difference between philosophy and liberation. Thinking about impermanence is an intellectual game. Seeing impermanence, feeling the sensation in your fingertip arise, vibrate, and vanish, that is Vipassana. That is direct contact with reality. In the Theravada tradition, they distinguish between the wisdom of learning, the wisdom of reasoning, and the wisdom of realization. The first two are just preparation. They are the menu. Less thinking, more seeing is the command to put down the menu and eat. The word Vipassana implies a special kind of sight. Va means clear, distinct. Passan means seeing. It is seeing without the foggy filter of your preferences. It is seeing without the editorial commentary of I like this or I hate this. It is the radical act of meeting the moment naked. In the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha called this the direct path, not the wending path, the direct one. And what does it look like? It is terrifyingly simple. When you breathe in, you know I am breathing in. When you feel pain, you know there is a sensation of pain. When the mind is anxious, you know there is anxiety. You are not trying to fix the anxiety. You are not trying to psychoanalyze the pain. You are simply the witness acknowledging the guest. We do this so rarely. We are almost always living in the commentary, one step removed from life. But you have tasted this seeing before. Think of a moment when you were stopped dead in your tracks by a sunset, or the sudden cry of a bird. For a split second, the chatter stopped. There was no I, there was no sunset. There was just seeing. That moment was a glimpse of freedom. When we stabilize this gaze, we begin to see the three marks that are tattooed on every atom of existence. We see anic impermanence. We see that nothing, absolutely nothing, holds still. The breath, the thought, the sensation, the person, the empire, it is all a flowing river, never the same twice. We see dukkha unsatisfactoriness. We realize that trying to hold on to these flowing things is like trying to grab a handful of water. It will always leak through your fingers, and we see in that non-self. This is the most liberating and frightening discovery. We look for the thinker behind the thoughts, and we cannot find him. We find only a process. A flow of phenomena empty of a permanent core. When you see this directly not as a theory, but as a felt reality, the grip of the ego begins to loosen. When pain arises, it is no longer my pain. It is just a sensation, rising and falling like a wave. You do not take it personally. The tragedy turns into weather. In the Anattalaka Sutta, the Buddha walked his first 5 disciples through this investigation. He dismantled their experience piece by piece. Body, feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness. Is this permanent? He asked. No, Lord, they replied. Is what is impermanent a source of lasting happiness? No, Lord. Is it fitting to regard what is changing and painful as this is mine, this is me, this is my soul? No, Lord. This was not a lecture. It was a guided surgery. And the text tells us that upon seeing this, the disciples became disenchanted. Disenchantment here is not depression. It is the waking up of a man who realizes the gold he has been hoarding is actually just painted rocks. He is not sad, he is sober. He puts down the heavy bag of rocks. He becomes dispassionate. And through dispassion, he is released. You do not let go of the burning coal because you have willpower. You let go because you finally feel the heat. Seeing is feeling the heat. So what does this mean for you tomorrow morning when the alarm rings and the anxiety of the day rushes in? It means you have a choice. You can board the train of thought, let it take you into the dark tunnels of what if and why me. Or you can stay on the platform. You can feel the anxiety as a tightening in the chest. You can watch it pulse. You can treat it with curiosity, like a strange animal that has wandered into your yard. Anxiety is visiting. You watch it without trying to kill it. And you will notice a miracle. When you stop feeding it with stories, it begins to starve. It shifts, it changes, it eventually passes. When grief comes, do not ask why. Why is a trap? Why is a labyrinth? Just feel the grief. Let it tear through you like a storm. Watch the rain. Do not tell a story about the rain. This is how we survive. This is how we remain whole. There is a stillness waiting for you. It is not a dead emptiness. It is a vibrant, complete presence. It is the feeling of finally putting down a heavy load you didn't know you were carrying. In his final days, the Buddha gave his ultimate instruction. Live with yourselves as your island. Live with the Dhamma as your refuge. Look to no one else. He was telling us that the rescue party is not coming. Because you are the rescue party. The sanity you are begging for is not in a book, it is not in a temple, and it is certainly not in the next thought you are about to think. It is right here, closer than your breath. Before the next thought rises, there is a space. Look there. Stop thinking and see